Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to teach you how to make these beautiful baby booties. These are part of a set, and the set is made of the baby booties as well as a cardigan. I am still working on the cardigan pattern as well as tutorial, but for today's video we are going to learn how to make these beautiful booties, and they are made of a rich texture on the upper part of the boots, and I have them stuffed a bit because I want to keep them in shape. I just don't like I don't like seeing them lying around when they're flat or they have been pressed onto something, so I prefer to just stuff them a bit. And you can see I already have a pair here, and this one doesn't have its partner, so that's what we are here to work on. So the cardigan tutorial, just look out for that. It will be up on my channel soon, and let's get started. The materials that you will need for this tutorial are a crochet hook, yarn, scissors, and a darning needle. For the crochet hook, I am using a 4mm crochet hook, and this is the size that you will need for a 3 to 6 months. For 0 to 3 months, you will need a 3.5mm, and for a newborn you will need a 3mm. And then you'll need a pair of scissors and the darning needle. Now for the yarn, I am using milk cotton yarn, and let's begin. You're going to start off your project with a slip knot. So make your slip knot in any way that you prefer to do it. So I have mine here, and you're going to make a chain of 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I have my 11 chains here, and you're going to go into the 4th chain from the hook with a double crochet. So yarn over and skip 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th you're going to place 1 double crochet. And then place 1 double crochet into the next 6 stitches or 6 chains. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is the 6th one. And now you should be having 1 chain left. This one, you're going to place a total of 8 double crochets into it, into that last chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So once you have your 8 double crochets into that very last stitch or last chain, you're now going to go into the next 6 chains. Don't forget to always go into that very first one here. There's one there. You're going to go into it with a double crochet. So I want a total of 6, and this is the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And as I was working those 6 double crochets, I made sure I was weaving in this tail at the back. So after this, you're going to go into the very last chain here where the first chain 3 comes out of, and you're going to place a total of 7 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So after this, you're going to go into the very first double crochet that you made with a slip stitch. So not on top of the chain 3, but into the very first double crochet, this one, and you're going to place a slip stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through all, and that marks the end of round 1. So we're going on to round 2, and you're going to chain 2, which doesn't count as a stitch. You're going to go into the very first space where the slip stitch is, where that chain 2 is coming out of. You're going to place 2 double crochets, and then you're going to go into the next 6 stitches with 1 double crochet into each. So this is the second, the third, 4, 5, and 6. And then after this, you're going to place 2 double crochets into the next 8 double crochets. So this is the first one, it gets 2 double crochets, 2 into the next, that's the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and this is the 8th, and it will get 2 double crochets. And after this, you are going to place 1 double crochet into the next 6 stitches. So those are 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And after this, you're going to go into the next 7 stitches with 2 double crochets into each stitch. So this is the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So once you place 2 double crochets into your 7th stitch, you'll have come to the end of the row, and you're going to go into the very first double crochet that you made, not into the chain 3, the first double crochet that you made for your round, and you're going to place a slip stitch. Now we're going on to row 3, and this time around we are going to place the double crochets in the back loop only. So a stitch is made of this loop and this loop, and we shall go into the back loop. We shall be working into the back loops. Now you're going to chain 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, and you're going to go into the very first stitch, which is connected to the chain 2, into the back loop, and you're going to place a double crochet into the next, and continue to double crochet into each and every stitch only once. This is not an increase round, so we only place 1 stitch into each and every stitch, but working into the back loop only, and that is going to create that ridge, as you can see here. This is going to help us move our shoes upwards so that we stop working the flat part of the shoe. And at this point the sole is done. We are now working on the body of the boot. So we're coming to the end of our row, and we are placing one double crochet into the very last stitch, and then after this you're going to go into the first double crochet that you made on top of it and make a slip stitch. And now you should be having something that's shaped like a dish. And now we are going on to round 4, sorry, we are working in rounds. And you're going to chain 1, go into that very first stitch with 1 single crochet, and single crochet into the next 7 stitches once. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we have our 7 single crochets, and then the 8th one, which was the very first one. So we should be having a total of 8 single crochets. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets together. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through all the 3. So there we have just made a decrease, and that is a double crochet decrease or a double crochet 2 together. So we want a total of 8 of these. So let me show you again. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all the 3. So we've done a total of 1 and 2 double crochets together. So we have a total of 6 left because we want a total of 8. So this is 1, 2, repeat the process 6 more times, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 more left, and then 8. And this is going to help us start shaping the front part of the boot. As you can see here, this is the front part of the boot, and this is what we are trying to create, that front part where the toes go. And then after the 8th double crochet decrease, you're going to place 1 single crochet into the last 20 stitches. So go into the next stitch with a single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So after your 20th stitch, you should come back to the beginning of your round, and you're going to go into the very first single crochet with a slip stitch. So that marks the end of round 4, and this is what you have. You can see the boot is starting to take shape. Now we're going on to round 5. You're going to chain 1, single crochet into that same exact stitch, and then single crochet into the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you should have a total of 8 single crochets, including the very first single crochet that you made at the beginning of the row. Now we are going to do 2 double crochets together 4 times. So we're going to go back to the other system, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all. So that's the first one. We want a total of 4 times this time round. And then this is the second. Okay. This is the third. And then this is the fourth. So the moment you're done with this, we are now going to place 1 single crochet into each of the next 20 stitches. So go into the next stitch with a single crochet and continue to single crochet once until the end of the row. So the last stitches should be a total of 20. After the decreases. Okay, so when you come to the end of your row or round, we're going to place a slip stitch into the very first single crochet that we made. And so far, this is what we have. Now we're going on to round 6, I believe, 4, 5, yeah. Now we're going on to round 6. You're going to chain 1 and then go into that same exact stitch with 1 single crochet once into the next 7 stitches. So after you get a total of 8 single crochets here, you are going to make 2 double crochets together 2 times. So this is the first time. So I hope you still remember how to do the 2 double crochets together like that. And then you are going to go into the next 2 stitches making double crochet decrease like that. So we have a total of 2 decreases here. And after that, you're going to go into the next 20 stitches, placing 1 single crochet into each. This is round 6. Alright, so we have come to the end of our round 6, and you're going to go into the very first stitch with a slip stitch, and this is what we have right now. And round 7 is going to be totally different, something very different from what we were doing before. You're going to chain 1. We're going to start working this texture that's at the top part of the bootie. Now after a chain of 1, you're going to go into the same exact stitch, which is the first one. Pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, pull up a loop. You'll have 4 loops on your hook and yarn over, pull through all, and that's a bean stitch. After this, you're going to chain 1. Some people call it the Elizabeth stitch, but I don't know which one is more correct. I think the bottom line is knowing the stitch, not the name. So after this, you are going to skip 1 stitch, skip the next, and then go into the next with another bean stitch. So insert your hook, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the same, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook, and then yarn over, pull through all, and then you're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, bean stitch into the next. Now we're going to repeat this all the way around. Don't forget to always skip a stitch in between, and to always chain 1 after the bean stitch. So we're coming to the end of our round, and I'm placing my last bean stitch into the second last stitch. You should be having 1 stitch left. Now you're going to chain 1 and skip over that stitch and go into the very first bean stitch that we made with a slip stitch, and that marks the end of round 7. And you can see we've started creating bumps around the boot opening. So when we come to row 8, you're going to chain your work you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to start from the very first bean stitch here. You're going to place a bean stitch into that space. You can see that space where my nail is popping out of there, and you're going to place 1 bean stitch into the very first bean stitch, chain 1, and then go into the next bean stitch with a bean stitch. Always note that we don't place a bean stitch into the chain 1 space. Instead, we place the bean stitch into the bean stitch, that space that's very close to the bean stitch. So I have so many projects that I have made using this stitch, and I'll be leaving them in the description box below for you guys to check them out and see if this is something that you would like to try out. Some of them are paid patterns, some of them are free patterns, and either way it's a great starting point to learn a new stitch that you could use for your future projects. So you're going to go all the way around the opening of the boot, placing 1 bean stitch into each bean stitch until you come back to the beginning of your round. So working around a small circumference can be a little bit challenging, but just make sure as you work you're not stretching out your work, because you may end up with a very big fitting, or you may end up separating the stitches so much because you're fighting with the stitches. So after this, after your last bin stitch into the last one, you're going to chain one and go on top of the bin stitch, the very first bin stitch of the round, and you're going to place one slip stitch. So I hope you remember how to do that. I'm going to show you this one more time. You're going to chain one, turn your work, and you're going to place one bin stitch into the very first bin stitch that's attached to the chain one space. So go behind and then place a bin stitch. That's the very first one, chain one, bin stitch into the next bin stitch, chain one, and we are going to just go all the way around. So once you know how to work these rounds, it's going to really be up to you to make the length of the boot that you want for your baby or for the client who ordered for this piece. For mine, I did a total of 5 rounds of the bin stitch. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rounds, and I felt like that was just enough for my baby size. I wouldn't want to wrap him or her all the way up, so I'm going to just continue to work this until I have my 5 rounds, and I'll meet you back to show you how to wind up. Okay guys, so I have finished my very last round, and you should make sure at least the last round is worked on the right side of your work. That's what I really recommend, so that we have a neat finish. And I forgot to mention how many bin stitches that I have around the leg opening. These are 15 bin stitches all the way around, and that applies from the very first round of the bin stitch up to the last one, which is the 5th. So since the first round was worked on the right side of our work, that means we should actually make sure that we make an odd number of rows or rounds for the bin stitch, so that we end our last round on the right side of the work. For example, 5, 7, 9 rows, and then after this you are going to go into the very first bin stitch and make your slip stitch, and then you're going to chain one and cut your yarn, leaving a long strand for weaving in. So you're going to pull through like that. Once you get the length that you want, of course, or your desired length, then you are going to get your darning needle and thread it with that tail that you have left behind. And what I want to do is to weave in my tail on the wrong side of my work. As you can see, just go in and out of a few stitches, making sure you don't disrupt the shape and form of the boot. Don't over pull on it. Just go back and forth into several stitches so that you make sure this tail is secure enough. And the moment you're done with that, you're going to grab your scissors and cut off the remaining tail. And that is how you make a simple baby booty with a little detail, and this actually gives it a little touch of class and uniqueness to it. As you can see, it's a total of 4 of them, and once this is a full collection, you can see these are the ones that are stuffed, and then this one is not stuffed. So if I place anything here, it's going to just keep losing form, yet these ones are going to be intact the whole time. So I will put some stuffing into it as well. I have my stuffing here just to keep them intact. If at all you don't have those plastic pieces to put inside here to keep them in shape, then you can use this stuffing to help you out. And also, if you're displaying them maybe in a shop, then this can be a really good display instead of having them without anything. So that's it for today's tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Thanks for watching.